Hey everybody, welcome to another story time with Frank. Been a little while since I've done a story, and there was one that popped up this week that I wanted to talk about with the passing of Jeff Hanneman from Slayer. I know he hadn't been in the band for a couple of years, but he helped found that band, and he's pretty much the driving force behind that sound. So, anyway. I can't remember what year this was because I used to drink a lot, and so this was probably, late 90s. Had to have been. Maybe even close to around 2000. Somewhere between 98 and 2000, let's just put it that way. And so, a friend of mine called and said, let's hang out, and I said, okay. And I was hanging out with him. I was like, where's your girlfriend? He goes, she's hanging out with a friend. I was like, cool. So we were hanging out at his house playing video games and stuff. I think we were playing Worms Armageddon or something. Anyway, she called and said, we're down at Deep Ellum and I'm getting a tattoo. And he was like, but you're supposed to wait and go with me. And she's like, well, we're already down here. We're going to go ahead and get it. He goes, well, I'm coming down there. And she goes, no, y'all don't have to come down here. So he was like, do you want to go down there? And I said, yeah, but you're going to have to drive because I'm like drunk by that point. And he hadn't had like maybe 1, 2. So he's like, okay. And we had her car, her Mustang. So we drove from North Dallas all the way downtown and went to Deep Ellum and parked. And he goes, well, I said, which tattoo place is she at? And he goes, I don't know. So he tried getting a hold of her, couldn't get a hold of her. She wasn't answering her phone. So I said, well, you go this direction, I go this direction, and just page me if you find her and let me know which one it is, because I don't think my phone wasn't working or something, and all I had was a pager. And this is back in the days of pagers, so we got down there and we split up, and I was pretty drunk, so I wasn't really sure where I was at, other than I was in Deep Ellum, and so I was like, man, I really got to pee. And I know the rule down there is that most of the time, if you're intoxicated, you're not going to get into the bar. And if you do get into the bar, they mostly have like one toilet, and so you're waiting forever. So I thought, well, I don't see any cops, and it's dark. I'll go down this alley behind these two, sets of buildings on these two different streets, and I'll just pee back there. And so I decided to go ahead and just piss, and I was pissing, and I was just about done, and I hear somebody say, hey man, that's not cool, and I was like, what the hell? And I was looking around, didn't know what was going on. I was like, what the hell? It's like pitch dark, and so I looked back towards the light to see if there was somebody back over here, and there wasn't anybody over there. And then this guy stands up and starts cussing at me. Well, come to find out, he's homeless, and he was laying down next to this trash can, and I basically pissed on him. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, man, I'm just so drunk, I'm so sorry. And he like starts freaking out and screaming, and I'm like, I'm out of here. So I take off running, and I'm drunk, so it's even worse. But back then I could actually run. I could outrun him no problem. Wasn't in the shape I'm in now. So I took off running around the corner, ran a block across the street, and was running another block past another alley, and then there was a bar there on the corner, and all these people, there was like 4 or 5 people that came out of this door, and I nearly ran into them. And this security guy that happened to be standing there put his hand out, and I just like hit his hand with my chest, and he stopped me. He was like, whoa man, what's going on? I was like, dude, I just pissed on a bum. Back then I called him a bum. I said, I just pissed on a bum, dude, and he's about to kick my ass. What the hell am I going to do? And so this guy said, these guys started laughing, and they were like, well, come on the bus for a second until he passes. And I got on the bus, and then was standing up by where the driver is, and they shut the door and asked me if I wanted a beer, and I said, sure. And I drank a beer and just sat there and talked to him for a few minutes, and I said, okay, I don't see him. Well, I'm going to go. And I was like, man, you guys look familiar. And they're like, yeah. And I figured it out. It was Slayer. And so I was like, holy shit. So I ended up getting to meet the guys. I got off the bus. I didn't get any autographs because I'm such a dumbass, and I was so drunk and I had nothing for them to sign. But it's still a really funny story. So I ended up meeting them that night, and then met back up with my friend. I found his girlfriend before he did. I don't know where the hell he was looking, because I ended up going all the way back around to the street I was trying to get to before I got to that alley and peed. And I went to the one tattoo parlor, the first one, and she was standing there. And I was like, where's he at? And she was like, I don't know. She goes, he called me earlier and I just haven't called him back. I said, well, we came down here looking for you. And she goes, why are you out of breath? And I was like, well, I peed on a bum. I nearly ran into Slayer. I met Slayer, and then I had to go all the way back around all these streets to get back over so that bum didn't kick my ass. And everybody in the tattoo place just erupted in laughter. And then they were like, you really got to meet Slayer? And I'm like, hell yeah, it was cool as shit. So anyway, that's my Slayer story. And I tell it in honor of Jeff. And he's a great guy. They were so cool. That's the one thing I have to say about the metal community, the true metal community, not the hair metal people. I have met a couple of them and they were really nice. But the guys that are really like hardcore metal, Slayer and, the shred guys like Pantera and God, I have a list, a mile long of people that I've met over the years. And I do have to say that the guys that are into metal, like real metal, are probably the coolest guys in the world, because all they're doing is going out and hanging out with their buddies, getting drunk, playing a guitar or drums or singing or playing the bass or whatever, and getting paid for it. And so they don't have that bad attitude. And I never got any attitude from any of them at any time. If I saw them somewhere and said hi, they always said hi. I was always friendly. Especially like Dimebag and Vinnie Paul and Rex were always cool. I never met Phil Anselmo, but met the other three, and a friend of mine used to work with Rex's wife, so we saw him all the time, at different restaurants we'd go to or whatever. So anyway, that's my Slayer story. I thought you guys might enjoy it. It's really sad that he's gone now, and he's only 49, and that really hits me hard because he's not much older than I am. I'm not saying I'm like 45. I mean, he's still probably got 10 years on me, but it makes you think that you've got to, watch what's going on. And I think his evolved over time over the last 2 years after a spider bite. And so, it's something on my mind all the time, that you can go super quick. And so that's why I do the daily vlog and I do these videos. I want to put myself out there in case something happens in the future and I don't live to be 90 or 100 and have the ability to tell my stories for another 40 or 50 years, that I have my stories online for people to enjoy. So hopefully you enjoyed the story. If you have a Slayer moment of your own, please go and film a video and do it as a reply to this video, and I'll make sure that I post the information out there, that you replied, and I'll watch all your videos and comment, and I'd like to see what you guys, have to say as far as your stories concerning, especially this band. You can say any metal band, but especially Slayer is, they're a great group of guys, and I'd love to hear interesting and funny stories, involving those guys. So anyway, I send my condolences to his family and to the band. And just know that he's changed so many lives, even if you don't realize it. He's changed so many lives over the years just from influencing people with his guitar playing. So he's definitely going to be missed. And he's probably up there with Dimebag right now, strumming away on the guitar. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Make sure you get out and tell your stories so people know who you are, and people in the future know who you are, and that your stories get told.